Welcome to the St Thekla convent. The reason I am here doing this is because I was just working on one of my fans for you lecturers. It's in this building, which looks like a barn, but it's actually the chapel. Now, the upper floor, it had no electric, so I ended up having to wire it, including these two external lights. There. And there, which are both LEDs so they can be run all the time. And there's 6 sets of the interior ones, but they're not the focus. The focus is right here. My second Iconofan, which is based on an Emerson 1895 series. It's the later type with the reversing switch in the switch housing rather than on the top of the motor housing. Interestingly, this one had a 12-pole motor. Now let me tell you, that fan was a lot of work. The motor, of course, it was white, so I had to refinish it to my faux brass. I made my own blades, which I just this week finished stenciling. They've been up for 2 years with unfinished blades. Built those LED votives. Now, I'm sure all of you were wanting to, and I even had to put a beam up above to hold it. Above the insulation, there's actually a second normal canopy. I've put that 100 one in because, well, here you can kind of see the beam. It would have looked stupid to have the down rod just coming through the insulation, so I did that. So let's get on with the speeds, because I'm sure that's what all the remaining fan collectors are going to want to see. But first, let me get a close-up of this stencil for y'all. A custom design, but based on a pattern in our church. So I'm using a 5-speed control. Here's all the controls for the lights as well. Top knob on this control was for those little LED flicker votives. Just a Westinghouse 5-speed control. Put it on low. With these blades, because they're a little longer than the originals, it's about a 56-inch fan. And that being a 12-pole motor, well, I'm going to go around the fan like this, nice and zoomed in so you can get a better look at the icons. Oh, it's running. It runs slower than it was originally designed. But it still works fine. Maybe I should up capacitor it someday. So that's low. It's going at a decent low speed. Now I'll put it on medium low. Even on the low you can feel airflow. So this is medium low. It's a little faster. Not a huge speed difference between those two, I'll admit. Let's let it sit a moment to get up to speed, because again, as I said, it's probably overloaded slightly. Next up, medium. I had to make that top band on there, that crown, myself, by the way. So this was a lot of work. Purely charitable. And it's going pretty good on medium. Next up, medium high. I had an old shot or two of the fan before we had the insulation, but also before it was totally finished. That's a pretty good speed. It's already and maybe someday I should put it on a variac, because this place has voltage drop. It would solve the, it would give it more That would give it a little more oomph by being able to boost the voltage to 130 volts or so, which would make up for the extra power, but I think it runs pretty good even as is. You be the judge. That's high, and it moves some good air. Not much directly under it, but you can feel the air throughout the entire room, which is exactly what matters here. Throughout the building, and that's what mattered. Now, because of the voltage drop, it actually speeds up a little bit when I turn off the lights. Not by much, but it does, and it gives you a better look at those little LED votives. Especially if I close the door. And there you can see it kind of under low ambient light. I'll do a spin down in a moment. But yeah, that was a lot of work. Worth it though. I have some updates for fans at home I'll cover at some other time. So here we go. Let's see. It started about 6. We are now 15 seconds in. It is slowing down rather nicely. Probably going to be about a minute. Not surprising, being that it's a big fan that doesn't turn super fast. But it moves a lot of air with those huge blades. Okay, it's past a minute, which is actually better than I would have expected with this fan with such a heavily loaded motor. Looks like, up, here we go. About a minute and 40 seconds. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed.